Today we're diving into the First Descendant's new Inversion reinforcement system, a shiny new system that gives us more buffs and, thankfully, fewer headaches. This new season progression system has been updated to give you better benefits and remove those annoying debuffs that came with a lot of the perks before. If you're looking to make the most out of your buffs without grinding yourself into oblivion, you're in the right place. I'm here to save you some time, effort, and maybe even a bit of sanity. So let's get into it.
Wait, did we just become best friends? So nice to meet you. I think you're cool.
Alright, so let's get the basics out of the way. The Inversion reinforcement is a progression system. It gives you a way to spec for situational damage buffs and utility effects through something called the Inversion Reinforcement Device, IRD for short. You'll earn Ironheart Particles by completing seasonal content, which you then spend to unlock new passive effects and exclusive perks. But remember, it resets at the end of the season, so make the most out of it while it lasts. Okay, let's go in a little bit deeper. So the IRD is a grid of active and passive effects that last throughout the season. The grid is divided into rows and columns, and you unlock the passives in a tiered system. For example, you can't unlock column 2 until you've spent a point in column 1. You can't unlock column 3 until you've applied at least 3 points. And as you'd probably have guessed, can't unlock the last active column until you have spent at least 5 points. Simple enough, right? There are 5 categories: hunt, attribute, recovery, survival, and season. Within these categories, you've got active and passive traits. You can choose 3 active traits total, but here's the catch. They have to be from different categories, so no doubling up. I can't have 2 from hunt or 2 from the season categories. The passive traits, on the other hand, can only be unlocked by unlocking all 4 active traits in a category, like you can see here on the hunt row. You don't even have to use those active traits to benefit from the passive traits. They're always on. Unlocking these active traits requires points. Here's the breakdown. Active traits cost between 1 to 3 points each, and unlocking all perks in a category will cost you 6. There are 25 total perks, 20 active and 5 passive perks, and it's a total of 30 points that you need to get all of these. Now here's where you need to pay attention to this system. It's a bit daunting at first. There are 30 inversion reinforcement levels. Each level gives you 1 energy point. The quantity of Ironheart particles you need for 1 level or 1 point is going to scale as you level up. So at level 1, you need 2,000 Iron Hearts. And by the time you get close to level 30, you need 3,000 Iron Hearts. I wasn't able to track level by level the scaling, but assuming it's a linear scale, that means on average, you need 2,500 Iron Hearts per level. So the total amount of Iron Hearts you need is going to be somewhere in the realm of 75,000 to 90,000 total Iron Hearts. Yeah, it's a big number. But don't freak out, I've got your back. So this is one of the places the devs made changes in Season 2. There are now 3 ways to get Ironheart Particles. There used to only be 2. You can get them by doing activities in the open world within each zone of the map. You get Ironheart Particles by doing invasion missions, and now you get them from the Void Vessel too. So this is going to require a multi-prong approach, because even if you do every activity on your map and every zone, that's going to cap out at 36,000 total Ironheart points. So you're going to need to do the rest from the Void Vessel and or your daily invasions. Now, although this is still a serious grind, it is definitely easier than it was in Season 1. And to help you along and prevent you from wasting a ton of time, I made this cheat sheet guide that will direct you to the easiest activities to get the greatest amount of points. But before I run you through those details, let's zoom into the details of the perks. Here are a few of my favorites. One in the hunt category is called Biodensity Augmentation. It takes 1 to unlock this, and when defeating an enemy, you're gonna get max HP up by 11.7% for 30 seconds, up to 5 stacks. Another one of my faves is here called Heightened Sensory Cells in the recovery category. When an enemy is nearby, it grants Heightened Sensory Cell every 0.5 seconds, or half a second. Heightened Sensory Cells last for 10 seconds, and recovers HP by 20% of max HP and MP by 8.5%. This stacks up to 4, and the cooldown is 25 seconds. The season section varies every season. However, the devs have modified many of these from Season 1 to Season 2. The Arcade Boost is my other fave. On hitting 5 or more enemies with the skill grants Arcade Boost, skill cooldown negative 15.5%, skill speed and range increase modifier by 11% for 7 seconds with a 25-second cooldown. For the passives, once you unlock them, you can now always have them on. You can reset and reassign all your points anytime you feel like it. The devs do intend us to tailor these to our Descendant and the missions that we're playing, but if you're anything like me and you switch Descendants all the time, or you're playing a variety of content, it's kind of a pain in the butt or easy to forget to come in here to swap out your selections. And then you have to remember to swap them back when you switch Descendants again or change missions again. But they did say they were in development of a loadout option for the Inversion reinforcement. Now let's go through the Ironhearts farming guide I made just for you. The idea of this is to help you efficiently get all of your Ironhearts that you need to reach level 30 and to prioritize your activities, because it did change from Season 1 to Season 2. So the sources, as mentioned, are going to be invasion runs, void vessel on hard difficulty, and then open world activities. I am assuming you're playing on an open world map set to hard here. So daily invasion runs used to give us more Ironhearts, but now it's 250 per run for 500 per mission, or 1,000 total per day. I'm guessing they changed that because they introduced the void vessel, which on hard difficulty gives you 700 Ironhearts upon completion. And then open world activities give you 450 Ironhearts per activity, and there's a variety of those, 10 activities per zone. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, and the guide reiterates, that one level is going to cost you somewhere between 2,000 and 3,000 Ironheart Particles, depending on what level you're at. The little chart I put here is to help you prioritize your efforts. So the map or the open world will contribute to the least amount of Ironheart Particles. It's going to be the invasions and the void vessel that will fill in the bulk of your level 30. Moreover, it will be the void vessel. So before I break down each of these zones, here's what you need to know. The void vessel will be your dominant source of Ironheart Particles, assuming you're playing the season track to unlock both Keelan and your fellow, and then to level up your fellow. So all three of those activities require you to complete the void vessel many times. How many runs you're going to do to unlock your Keelan and your fellow and then level up your fellow is going to be up to RNG. So that's why I'm doing this based on a priority and not an exact number of runs in the void vessel. And then do your invasions daily. It should take about 15 minutes or so to complete all 4 runs. That'll get you a good chunk of Ironheart Particles as well. And then from there, if you just do these things in each one of these zones, you will have crossed off all of the easy things in every zone. And then from there, just do your 400% infiltrations. That's the priority list. So I went through every single zone and cherry picked the easiest activities to get an easy 450 Ironhearts. So Echo Swamp, you're gonna get 2,250 Ironhearts by completing these 5 activities. All of them have 5 activities, coincidentally, except for Kingston, which has 6 activities. And all of the activities are very similar, and I'm gonna walk you through each type of activity. When you go to your map and you click on a zone, you'll see a little menu here in the bottom right. So each map has 10 activities for you to complete, and each one of the activities is going to award you 450 Ironheart Particles. So some of these are really tedious, and I don't recommend you do them. The one you really want to avoid is the one that says defeat the champions, especially because this is a grind. I'm telling you, getting 75 champions means you're playing the same mission over and over and over and over and over again. Champions are the ones with the orange names over their head. The other ones I want you to clearly avoid are the clear missions in Echo Swamp on hard difficulty, because it's requiring you to do 10 of those. And then defeat the commander in Echo Swamp on hard difficulty, it's requiring you to do 10 of those as well. So these are really tedious. That being the case, there's a trick to these. So hang tight and I'll show you how to cross those off your list passively. So I'm going to use Agna Desert to go through the types of activities as an example, but just realize that these activities are spread across all of the map, but all of the activities are very much the same. If we look at Vespers, the very first activity says use support drone, and you're going to get 450 Ironhearts. The support drone it's talking about is this support drone here. So all you have to do is click replenish the supplies and you'll get 450 points. It's that easy. And that activity shows up in many of the zones. And if it did, I put it on the list. So the next thing on the list, it says destroy gas tanks. So I'm looking at Vespers, but it also shows up in Agna. So this is a gas tank. So all you have to do is blow it up. There's an actual quantity that you have to blow up. It might be 5 or 10. I can't exactly remember. They're all over the place, so just go around and shoot those. So just about every one of these, you're gonna see clear an outpost on the list. That's also gonna give you 450 Ironhearts. You don't need any patterns, you don't need a cloak, you don't need to do this for Sharon, you just need to clear it. Okay, so the other thing you're gonna see on the list in every single zone is clear void fusion reactors for 450 Ironheart. So I'm at the one here in Agna Desert, and these are actually not that hard anymore. So they did nerf them to make them easier. It doesn't matter which descendant you use. If you have a proficient descendant, you should be able to clear this in just a matter of moments. Okay, destroy resource boxes. So these are resource boxes. So all you can punch them, you can shoot them, whatever you want to do. So each one of the zones is gonna have a void fragment that you have to do, but pay attention to this. It's attack. You do not have to complete it. It's as easy as making sure you're using the right descendant for the element. So this is electric. So I'll attack it. And now this starts it. And see, it says I've gotten my Ironheart Particles. Now I can abort it. We're done. That's it. The easiest 450 Ironheart Particles you can get. Okay, using the Echo Swamp example again, see number 2, it says use munitions for 450 Ironhearts. So these are munitions, and all you have to do is interact with them. Okay, here's a tip I have for you. So if you can do infiltrations on a regular basis, like 400% infiltrations, for example, then you'll be checking a lot of these things off your list inadvertently. For example, destroying elites on hard difficulty. So you're gonna be killing elites in infiltrations. So that counts. Defeating commanders in Hagios on hard difficulty, this counts. And then clear a mission in Hagios on hard difficulty, excluding outposts, void fragments, and fusion reactors. This counts. And in many of these, there's an actual infiltration operation line item for 450s. If you plan properly, you could be taking care of your resource boxes and blowing up your gas tanks while you're in those infiltrations. And it will count towards the activity in the map that the infiltration belongs to. I hope this guide helps. Catch you on the next one. Thank you for hanging out with me. My name is Tuxedo Bandido. That's Tito Bandido.
One and only.
And this was another episode of The First Descendant. If you found this video helpful, subscribe, like, and turn on notifications to ensure you don't miss out on the fantastic experiences waiting for you in The First Descendant. And if you like videos like this, check out the one I have recommended for you right here. If you have anything you want to see covered, be sure to let me know in the comments below. And thank you to all the channel members and donors who make everything possible. Tux Nation wouldn't be without you.
When you buy or download anything for The First Descendant, be sure to use Tux's creator code to support the channel. Easy peasy.
Follow me.